Today we are going to take it very light. We are trying to understand what we did over the last 2 days, and probably we do a very quick exercise, so it will be shorter. So the first thing we did the day before is to understand how school works when it comes to wrongs and punishment, right? So we tried to examine what are the wrongs we commonly commit in school, what are the common punishments, and based on that we tried to deduct what exactly is punishment. So when we found a few features of punishment, so basically for an act to be a punishment, we need certain features to be present. Some of the main features are: one, I'm sure you remember, it has to be an undesirable consequence. Then we found that it has to come from an appropriate authority. Not everybody can punish, okay? It has to come from an appropriate authority. There should be a relevant reason, a direct and relevant reason for it. What else did we learn? Anybody can help me?
Different types of punishment.
No, before that, the features of punishment. I also spoke to you about proportionality, right? It has to be proportionate to the punishment. Remember?
Yes, sir.
The wrong has to be proportionate to the punishment, and we also found that, I think you said that, Ritesh, that there should be a due process has to be followed before a punishment can be imposed. Then yesterday, that was what is punishment, the features of punishment. Yesterday we tried to figure out why do we punish. We tried to discuss some of the theories of punishment. Like the first one was, some people think the punishment is to take revenge. Yeah. So by helping the person or the victim to take revenge in a structured way, the punishment should in a way take revenge on the person who committed the offense. That's one theory of punishment. That's why some people think punishment should be retributive theory. Take note of those names. Then we also understood that some people think punishment should be to discourage people from committing wrongs. By seeing a punishment, by knowing about a punishment, people will be discouraged. And that is important, because when you are discouraged from doing wrong, society will be safer in the future. Less crimes. So some of them think that punishment should be to discourage future crimes. Then we also found that there are some people felt the punishment should be to physically prevent people from committing wrongs. Like when you put them in jail, they can't do crimes in the future, at least for that specific period. So therefore they felt that prevention is important, and therefore the punishment should be for preventing further crimes. Then there is a fourth theory, which believed slightly differently from all the other theories. All of them were concentrating on the person who commits the wrong. But this theory of reformation theory was focusing on changing the offenders, changing the wrongdoers. So they think that once you try to change a person who did the wrong, then society will be safer, that person will no more be a criminal. So therefore reformative punishment is to actually reform the person, change the person who committed the offense. This much I understand. I hope you have understood. So now moving forward, I want you to do a couple of exercises, just 2 exercises which we are going to do today. One is to find out, these 4 theories. When you have heard, what are the types of sentences you have heard? Tell me, what are the types of sentences you have heard?
Life sentence.
Life sentence, yes. That's in jail, right? Jail sentence, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. What else? What else have you heard?
Death sentence.
Death sentence, yeah. Okay. And then what else? Have you heard of fine? Sometimes you get fined, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, and then have you heard the disqualification from driving? This is becoming more popular in India these days. When you know drink, drive, or do something, some driving offenses, rash driving, go and kill somebody because you are not driving properly, wrong, beating the rules, you may get disqualified from driving as well. So there are different types of punishments, and in some other countries there are punishments like cutting off your hand, amputation, right? Harsh, but they have that as well. So my question is this: let's take the example of death sentence. Okay, death sentence. What are the theories which you think are applicable to that?
Deterrence.
Okay, Ritesh, yeah, she speak deterrence. How does it deter somebody? A
So
jail.
by there was this point in deterrence theory that we have to instill fear and discourage future crimes, so that by doing, like, when a person has done something wrong, they show it in the crowd, like they will hang him or something, like in that way deterrence.
Okay, so that way deterrence. Anything else do you see in death sentence?
Retributive.
Right, fair enough. And then anything else? Do you think there is a possibility of reformative sentence there, reformative theory there in that sentence?
No, sir.
No. What about preventive theory?
Yes. Yeah.
There is some element of it. Okay, Mega says there is a preventive aspect of it, because by actually killing a person, that person can't do further crimes. Therefore, he is physically stopped from committing crimes. Mega, right? That's your logic, right? Mega? Yeah, okay. And Rishikesh, you said deterrence and prevention. You agree with Ritish's view, or do you have an additional point? Rishikesh? Oh,
I agree with Rajesh.
go ahead.
Sir, I agree with Rajesh point.
Okay, Avinash, you said no to it. What did you say no to?
Reformative theory, sir.
Oh, okay. Reformative theory doesn't work. So I think you generally agree that there is a bit of a retribution in death sentence. There is definitely deterrence and prevention in death sentence as well. But of course, most of you it seems to agree that there is no element of reformation. There is no chance for a dead person to change himself, right? Yeah. Okay. So now let's take the example of jail sentence. Okay. We two prominent punishments are death sentence and jail sentence. In jail sentence, what happens? What are the theories applicable in a jail sentence?
Preventive.
Vinayak says preventive. Then Rishikesh says
It cannot be reformative because he'll only just get angry out of that jail sentence.
Is that true, Vinayak? You get
Most of the cases.
Okay, most of the cases. But okay, fine. Avinash, you say deterrence. Rishikesh says deterrence. Megha says retributive. There is an element of retribution. I have no doubt about it. I'm not here to answer those questions because these are views which we have to form on our own. Okay, so Avinash, when you say deterrence, it means that you see somebody going to jail, then obviously you are discouraged from doing the crime, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And Rishikesh, you said prevention is probably the easiest to guess because when you're in jail, it's very, very difficult. I mean, I won't call it impossible, but very difficult to physically commit the crime. Yeah. So prevention is there, deterrence is there. An element of retribution, as Mega said, is always there, right? I mean, you are in a way taking retaliating for the crime they committed. So there is an element of, not so much, but there is an element of retribution. What about reformation? I want to know your views, different people. What do you think of the reformative element in jail sentence?
Sir,
Ritesh.
I think there is like a bit, because I've seen that when you get jail sentence, there are counseling sessions like to keep them mentally stable. So they think of that prisoner. So I guess a bit of reformative theory is there.
Okay, so you think that there is a huge element of reformation possible when you're sentenced to jail, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, anybody who disagrees with the Ritish?
Me, sir.
Yeah, you take the
Sir,
go ahead.
when we go to jail, the atmosphere of jail is quite depressed because Ritesh only mentioned about the cruel people who do their crime, but some people accidentally does some crimes, and if they go to jail, they would be much disturbed. They would not be reformed. They would be much disturbed and go. And when they come out of the jail, they would be a cruel murderer or something. So I do not agree the reformative theory completely.
But do you agree to some extent?
Yes, sir, some extent, because some people, only a short minor percentage of people get well by counseling, etc.
Okay, so you don't believe too much in this counseling thing, and you think that most people will be hardened, angry, frustrated because of the sentence they undergo, right?
Yes.
Okay. Any other views? Anybody agrees or disagrees with Ritesh and Avinash? Ritesh says there's a huge element of reformation in jail sentence, a possibility of reformation, and Avinash thinks very less chances or minor, not a huge chance of reformation in jail sentence because they will be very frustrated. Chucky, do you agree with him? Who do you agree more?
From Avinash Chatter.
Which one?
From Avinash Chatter.
Avinash Chatter. Why do you say so? Because you think that people goes to jail means they are not going to be happy, so they will be angry.
Yeah, most of the people will get angry, no?
Yes, but then they have done something wrong also, right?
Yeah.
But still they don't want to go to jail, right? Okay. Now, Mega, who do you agree?
I agree with both. Not all people will change.
I can't hear you, Mega. Speak up a bit more, louder.
Hello, can you hear me?
Yeah, go ahead. Who do you agree with? Do you agree that Reformation has a bigger role to play in jail sentence, or you think a very small role to play in jail sentence?
Sir, I agree with both. Not all people will change, and
You think the people will change?
yeah, like not. I think some people will, and not all people will. So I agree with both.
Which one more? More people will change or less people will change?
I think more people will change.
Okay, all right. So you tend to agree with Ritesh on that. Rishikesh, you want to take a view on that?
Yes, I also think that more of them will feel guilt and they will change their mind.
So more people will change. That's what you think.
Yes.
Okay. Anybody else who wants to take a view? There's plenty of people who are not. Dana, Gada, Advaid, whoever, do you want to take a view? Do you think the jail sentence will change a person for better? Or you think that very few people will be changed via jail sentence?
Sir, I support that like very few people like will be happy. Like
No.
most of them will be really suffocated, right? In the jail.
No, but the question is slightly different. People will be suffocated, whatever. But do you think there is a chance of a reformation in people, given a proper training or given a proper counseling to them?
No, sir. Like a very few people may change, but others just like after coming out of jail, they just do the same thing. Like I
Okay,
don't
so
think they'll change.
Okay, so you
So I
believe,
want to add the point. Also, the behavior of the people around them will also make them depressed and make them further do more crimes.
okay, fair enough. So you think less people will change, although the slant of the question is slightly different. But anyway, I see your points. But I'll give you an example of this prison. Yesterday I showed you the picture. This is a Bastøy prison from Norway, Europe. They provide great prison services. People are, live in very comfortable environment, unlike prisons in some of the countries, including India. And this prison, and what they do is they try. This is not a hotel room or a bike repair shop. This is a prison itself. So you see, these people are trained to do things in the kitchen, trained to repair bikes. These are happening in prison. So what they are trying to do, these prison people are trying to do, is to provide them training. So these people are being trained in something which they are not aware of, or they are just given an opportunity for training in the kitchen, repairing bikes, and they also will get counseling sessions. This is what happens in Bastøy prison in Norway, and also in many other prisons across the world. So while I agree with Avinash's point and other points which made by other people, it is true that a lot of people go into the jail very frustrated, very angry. They remain in jail very frustrated, and they look around and they see a lot of criminal activities around. Jail is not exactly a great place to be in. So they will be angry, frustrated, and they may even get worse, because you see all these people, you network, you become friends with these people. So it may be difficult for a person to change, but in some cases, in many cases, the current philosophy is to change people, try to counsel them, give them decent opportunities, try to segregate people who are habitual criminals from first-time offenders, try to give them a chance to understand what they're wrong and why it's wrong. So there is a change in philosophy, change in approach of the jail sentences of the different countries, to make sure that jail is an opportunity rather than jail is a preventive sentence. It's an opportunity to change people. The good thing about changing people is that once you change a person, it's done for good. If you prevent them for a short period of time, they are going to come out of it, and then they are going to be tougher people, or they come back and do the crime again. Same with deterrence. You can discourage people for a while, but if you change a person for better, it's for permanent. It's for good. Once it's for good, then society is safer. That person is better all through, and it helps the society and his immediate family. So that is one of the philosophies behind the jail sentence, and you will see all these theories apply in jail sentence. There is a reason why jail sentence is a very common form of punishment. Why? Because there is a bit of retribution in it, there is deterrence in it, there is prevention in it, and there is even a chance for reformation in it. So that is one of the reasons why this is, although jail sentence is very expensive for the state. Remember, building jails, appointing officers to look after them, giving food to the inmates, all of these are very, very expensive things to do. But still, we do a lot of it simply because that includes most of the theories what we understand about punishment. So that is probably is one of the reasons why it is so popular. Okay, now what's your preferred theory of punishment? Forget about jail sentence, forget about everything else. Okay, now one by one, tell me what's your favorite theory. You now know what these things are all about, right? Tell me your favorite theory.
Yes, sir. Sir, I would like deterrence, reformative, and retributive.
No, which one? The top theory. Which one you like most?
Reformative.
Reformative. Which one you like least?
Sir, the preventive.
Hmm. You can give a reason if you have. Otherwise, we all understand what you're trying to say. Is there any specific reason which we should know?
So like I would like preventive, but I don't like it because preventive is something which makes the person angrier. Like you are just pressurizing him more.
Okay, fine. Dana, you want to say something about it? Which is your preferred theory, the best and the worst?
Sir, like
Which one?
I guess prevention. Like I'm not sure about it.
No, it doesn't matter. Which one is your preferred theory? Preventive, I mean, which of the ones you think you like most, the theory?
Like prevention.
Okay, and which one do you dislike most?
Retribution, sir.
Retribution. Okay, now let's hear from two more people. Let's see. Sriyesh, you want to comment on it? Which is your favorite theory? Never mind. Mega, what's your favorite theory?
There's the reformation theory.
Reformation theory. And Mega, one thing I have noticed in you is that you have been very, very consistent about that. From the very first answer you gave, you have an inclination towards it, making people understand. That's right? You said you want to be. Yes. And then what is the worst one you dislike? The one which you dislike?
Prevention.
You don't like prevention. Okay, fine. Sriyesh came back with the Reformation as his favorite theory. Okay, good. Now, how many of you like death sentence? Do you think that we should have a punishment like death sentence?
Yes, sir, sure.
Yes, sir.
Anybody dislike? I think it's about killing a person, right?
No, no.
What's the specific reason for killing a person? That's
Sorry?
right. That's the specific reason for killing a person.
So you think that if a person does something very serious, we have a right to kill that person, right?
Sir, if a person kills somebody, then he will get death sentence.
Yes. Let me share with you a couple of points. I mean, it's just a different view. Let me see whether I can find it in the first place.
Sir, I do not like that death sentence.
You don't like it? Why do you don't like it?
Sir, even if a person takes another person's life, we don't have any rights to kill that person, right? We just have the right to even at least change him.
Mm-hmm. But if he's so dangerous, then what do we do?
Like in the preventive theory, we might jail him up.
So you think that we should just prevent him from?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Fair enough.
The emotions of your people, the people who have lost their.
Okay, so Avinash is asking Ritesh to consider the feelings and frustrations of the victim's family. Say somebody killed somebody, okay? A killed B. So Avinash is asking, what about B? B's family, B's loved ones. Ritesh.
So, but hasn't A already lost his life by just sitting in the jail?
So there is enough revenge by doing
Yes,
that?
sir.
Okay,
Like
so
he has lost everything. He's just sitting in one place for his whole life.
Avinash, do you think that is okay? Is that good enough?
No, sir. I think if it's a, I never make compulsory death sentence because some cases people kill unfortunately no other way, so they have the right to live. But in some specific cases, death sentence is very.
Okay, so you think that not in all cases, but at least in certain cases, death sentence is fine, right? That's what you're saying, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So let me share some views. I mean, again, this is my views, or generally some. Look, nobody is right or wrong in this one. You know why? Of the 200 over countries we have, countries are fairly divided into two. Some of them think that what Avinash has been saying. Look, I'm not going to take the death sentence away in cases because some people need to be killed. And half the countries think that what Ritish is being saying. Let me share with you some of the views and see what impact it makes on you. One of the points people against death sentence say is what Ritish said. Look, how is killing somebody better than okay? What happens in a death sentence? Let's say starting from the crime. A kills B, right? One person kills another person. That's wrong. That's very wrong. That's what we all agree, right? You cannot kill somebody. Now, what is the difference between all of us together, the state, the judiciary, the court, the police, everybody together, killing killing A? So what is the difference between A killing B and B killing A? So that is one of the arguments they are saying. Can we actually teach someone that killing is wrong by killing him? That's what we are trying to do, We are trying to say that A can't kill B, and therefore, and what do we do instead? We kill A. And how do we teach somebody that killing is wrong by killing somebody else? And how is it any better? The death penalty isn't it state-sponsored murder? Everybody come together and now we kill you because why? You kill somebody, and you're basically saying us killing you is okay, but you killing somebody else is not so okay. So that is one thought. Okay. Second is a bit slightly philosophically higher point of unalienable. There is a right to life. Everybody has a right to live. Yeah, and it's nobody's business to take it away. That's what some of the philosophers say. I won't go into it, why we call it so. But one of the arguments is that you can do anything to a person, but you can't kill them because you can't give life to that person, right? Can you give life to that person? If you put him in prison, you actually can free him from the prison. You actually can free that person. If you give any other punishment, you can do something about it. But when you kill a person as death sentence, you can't give him the life back. So that is another point which some people say. And this is another point which I think Ritesh said. Why can't we just put them in jail? The life is, you put the person in jail for long enough, then it's good enough. Why do you have to kill a person? You just put him in jail, preventive, forever. Killing a person just because he killed somebody, people argue that it is too primitive and too much of revenge in it. And what about the theory of reformation? What about a second chance? Sometimes people commit crime, like Chucky admitted yesterday, that sometimes you can't stop yourself. Sometimes you are in a heat of rage, you're angry, you're frustrated for some reason, you commit some crimes. Then can't they be given a second chance? We know for a fact that many people change when they are given a second chance. So why not that? And then there is another point is that, say for example, and this happens in many countries, okay, less in India, but in the US there is a statistics to show that after somebody is killed or sentenced to death, something comes up and shows that that person may not have committed that crime, or that person may not have committed a crime which requires death sentence. In those cases, if you are in jail, you can free them. But what if he's already executed, already dead? Can you give it back to him or her? Difficult, right? So these are the reasons why some of the people think death sentence is not a welcome punishment. Okay, so consider these points, Avinash and Ritesh. Both of you, Ritesh has been advocating for this. Avinash and say Rishikesh. Megha says she doesn't like death sentence anyway. Avinash, do you want to reconsider your thoughts on this after hearing these four arguments?
Never said that death sentence is very should be applicable to all the people who do any murder.
Right.
It's a pretty some cases,
Mm.
cruel murders, brutal. That some cases.
Right.
I would have death sentence.
Okay, very fair point. That is exactly what half the countries in the world thinks. It's a very fair point. In India, for example, we don't sentence every murderer, every person who kills somebody else to death. We don't do that. Only in the rarest of rare cases, you sentence somebody to death. And Avinash, it doesn't matter who agrees with you, but at least 100 countries agrees with you, or 80 countries agrees with you that death sentence cannot be taken off altogether. Simply because sometimes it's a good example. It's a good example that people don't commit cruel wrongs. Sometimes, if you don't give that kind of punishment, people will be very frustrated. Sometimes some of cases in which involving juveniles and women who are being brutally raped by a group of people, in those cases it's difficult to justify for anybody that that person has to survive. And I'm sure you might have heard of the Saumya case. Have you? Nobody. Okay, too young, I suppose. It happened a long time ago. Okay, so in many cases, Avinash, there is a lot of people who agrees with your view, and Ritesh, equal number of people, and I think slightly more number of people agrees with your view as well, thinking that it's all right that somebody is a bad person, still we can't kill. We do something else. So there is a good fan following for that. And to be honest, I personally take that view that you cannot kill, because you are saying killing is bad, and then however justified you are, you just can't kill. But that is personal for me, and the jury is out, equally divided among people. So no particular view we should take. I mean, no particular view is particularly right or wrong. Now, this is the last exercise which we will be doing. Anybody knows this case?
Right.
Okay, help me, tell me the case. I mean, tell the class what is all about. What is this case about? Give all the details you know. Okay.
Yes. Yes. So like I'm not sure, but these four people like raped a girl called Nirbhaya. Her name is Nirbhaya. And then like there was this case going on for like 7 years, I think. And then the court decided to give them the death sentence.
Okay. All right. Who wants to add to that case? Any information you want to add to the case? I want you to put yourself in the shoes of a judge. Okay. Yesterday I said I will make you a judge today, right? Yeah. So I want you to be a judge, and then look at this case. This is a case, very roughly, that's exactly what Ritesh said. A girl was trying to travel from one place to another in a bus. People in the bus, five of them, they gang raped this girl. Not just gang raped, because of the torture, she eventually died. Yeah. Now, if you are a judge, you are a judge, but you must consider, don't go by the sentiments of it, don't go by the sensation of it. If you are a judge and you have discussed all these theories, right? Many of you said reformation is what you want. Many of you said death sentence you don't like. Some of you said death sentence will be given in rarest of rare cases. We discussed all these things. Now, one by one, I want you to consider this as a judge, and I'm asking you to pass a verdict. Verdict means a sentence, a judgment, saying that what kind of punishment will you give these people? I will start with the youngest one, I suppose, Chucky.
Putting them for jail forever.
Oh, so you will put these people in jail forever. Why didn't you consider killing them?
because like we are taking their life.
So you don't agree with taking their life, whatever they do.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, Mega, I somehow know what you are going to say, but say it for the benefit of the class. What you are a judge. How will you punish that person, these people?
I know I told that the death sentence is not the ideal punishment. Then what I think is that whoever led the gang of the group should, I don't know, should be killed, should be given a death sentence. But I think the four other, it is not there. Like the other four should, just give a slighter harsh punishment. And I thought that the death sentence is not very good.
That's okay, Mega. You can contradict yourself. That's fine. But this is a classic case of contradiction we face, Mega, when I'm asking you a question directly and when you have to consider points, until the last minute, you were thinking of death sentence as a very bad kind of punishment. Right from the first class, you said consistently you have to convince that person they have done wrong. You should give an opportunity to change. You should give them. You should reform them. But when you heard the brutality of this case, you suddenly felt that's not right. You have to kill these people because these people are really crude, unsophisticated, cruel people who you don't want on the face of the earth. Right, Mega?
Yes, sir. I didn't mean like to give a death sentence to all of them. Just
Yes, understand. But say, for example, everybody was partners in crime. Everybody did the same thing. In that case?
sure.
Yeah. So that is what we do, which is fine. Mega, there is nothing wrong with what you're thinking. This is the dilemma. This is the problem is faced when you go and judge people. You in theory you believe something very strongly. Mega is a very typical example for believing something very strongly. And then when it came to real life situation, when you saw the situation, you felt that, hey, no, I'm not going to stick to the theory, but I'm going to be subjective. There's nothing wrong with it, but Mega, you will understand why things are done differently. Now, who else wants to give the views? Rishikesh, I'm calling those names who normally react. What do you think?
Sir, I think that we want to put them in jail till their death.
Okay, fine. Ritesh, let's hear you.
Well, like this is very confusing. I don't know because they've tortured and raped a girl, and then that's really bad. So, like when I first heard it, I thought it should be a death sentence. But then I thought, like, why should we have a death sentence? Like, we can give them some other punishment, like very brutally, which can change them at least, or we can do a preventive measure so that nothing happens in the future. And we were actually, instead of punishing them, we can improve our systems for defense, right? We can improve the safety so that future cases won't be there, and then we can just prevent these people and instead of giving a death sentence.
Okay, so while you are very tempted to kill them, given your strong footing in the theory which you have been telling us, you think that there should be some ways to deal with it, and so you are suggesting that maybe you want to prevent them physically by putting in the jail from committing further offenses, and in the meanwhile it's our duty as in government's duty and everybody's duty to make sure that these kind of things does not happen again. Yeah?
Yes.
Excellent points, huh? Who else wants to say? Gada or Dana, Sriyesh? Where is Avinash? Whoever, maybe use. Okay. Whoever wants to make a point, please do now. Okay. So Avinash says, he can't speak up because of the audio trouble. So, but what he is trying to say is that, look, this is what I said. I would never say that death sentence should be for all the murder cases. But cases like this, see, Mega changed. You see, Ritesh was doubtful. Avinash is saying, look, this is what I told you. Like cases like this are cases for which death sentence is a must. Yeah. Okay. Who else wants to? I mean, you don't need to contribute a new point, but you can just say your point. Anybody? Dana?
Sir, I was even telling like that. In some cases, just sentencing them to death is actually the best thing. Like, so that the next people won't repeat that crime again. Like the cruelty against people.
Okay. Fine. But
I prefer
the point,
like.
I'm putting you as a judge. I'm just asking you a direct question. How will you punish these people?
So sentencing them to death.
Sentencing them
Like
to
they have
death.
done such a cruelty, so.
All right. Okay. Now, Gada, you want to speak up? Your point is valid. Gada?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. You are taking a view that say it again for the class.
Sir, we should make them suffer. More than that, they should be suffered.
So you don't think the death sentence is good enough? You have to torture them.
Yes, sir.
How
They
do you-
tortured a girl, right?
Yeah. Okay. How do you suggest doing that?
That I don't have any ideas, but they should be suffered.
They should be tortured. They should suffer a lot more than just death.
Yes, sir.
Is prison enough a place, or you think there should be something more than that? Cut their hands, legs, limbs.
No, prison is enough, sir.
Okay, fine. Now, Avinash asked me a question. What's my view on it? I don't give answers. I only ask questions. You see. What's your opinion about this? You told that you don't support death sentence. Okay. Before that, let me tell you what the judges of the Supreme Court decided. Okay, the Supreme Court unanimously. There is an exception for a juvenile one. I'm not going to go into it. Let's not complicate it. But Supreme Court said this is a very rare case. We cannot compromise the safety of women in this country, and this has to be the lesson for everyone in the country and elsewhere. So therefore, they think that this is the rarest of rare cases, and death sentence for all of them. Actually, they were hanged in March 2020. So that's what the Supreme Court said. Answer Avinash's question. I think I will stick with my philosophical position, stick with my theory, unlike what Mega did. Mega, don't worry about that. We all change our views, okay? There's nothing wrong with it. I believe all the reasons all the reasons I made to disagree with death sentence are still valid. If you start looking at different crimes, say for example, you all agree this is a very heinous, bad crime, but it also depends, also depends on who that person is for us. Say for example, the same thing is done, this person who is killed is not a good person. Let's say he is a criminal himself. The person, the lady who was killed is a criminal. She has done a lot of theft. She was involved in another murder as well. Okay, think about it that way. And that person, this lady, currently the lady involved is a generally innocent lady who hasn't done any crime.
Sir,
Yes.
this case is not part of any other cases, right? No. I asked you, what about this? Not other cases.
No. I will come to that. But what I'm trying to explain is this. So, if this person was involved in some other crimes, will you be saying the same thing? Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
No, sir.
Okay. You see, this lady who is killed is an innocent lady. Bystander. She was a normal people like you and me. She takes a bus, she gets raped. We all feel so strongly about it. Now think about that lady as a criminal. this lady has done other things which are bad to the society. She might have destroyed some property somewhere, some government building, or she might have killed somebody else before. In that case, do you think your idea of death sentence changes?
Yes, sir.
Slightly. Okay, Rishikesh thinks that, Ritish also I think, thinks that you may not be that strict about a death sentence anymore, because this person is a bad person already. I mean, that's what we think, right? So my point is simply this: in some cases, when we change our opinion according to the circumstances of the cases, depending on who that person is, what that person means to us, then we may be in trouble in some of the cases. So the reason why, Avinash, this is the answer to your question. The reason why I think we should have a standard theoretical position, and we should stick to that theory, whatever be the consequences, whatever be the actual actual events, is because I think theory is more objective, in the sense we take a very impartial view when we discuss theory, and then if we have the courage to apply the theory, then it becomes very objective and fair, rather than changing based on certain circumstances or events. So that is why my answer is no, I wouldn't give death sentence, but I will make sure that they won't come out of the jail. They are a threat, no doubt about it. They are a threat, and they are very cruel threat to the society, and I don't want them to be released into the society, but I may keep them in a prison for a very long time. I will not go to an extent to kill them or torture them, for that matter, because once I torture them, once I kill them, I'm no different from them. I'm the same thing. I do the torture because they have tortured something. Really? Does it make me a better person? No, it's the same as them. I go and kill them because they killed somebody. No, I don't want to do that, because I believe that killing is bad, and I'm not going to do the killing myself. So for these reasons, I think I will stick to the jail sentence. But again, Supreme Court does not agree with me. Many countries, the courts do not agree with me. So disagreeing with me gives you a better chance of being more popular. But this is my view. Right? Any further questions? We are done. Chucky, you want to ask something?
No, sir.
Okay. Any questions from anyone? Avinash, that's fine. Yes, your opinion will not change. You don't need to. But the other thing you can consider is this: being open to ideas. You can take a position, but make an informed choice. Whenever you make a position, make an informed choice. While we can actually be stubborn about views we take, and I understand to a great extent that why you don't want to change the views, but my advice, don't follow if you don't want to, but advice is to be open to ideas, different views, different perspectives. When I pitted Ritish against Avinash, both of you have your right to stick to your position, and you both have very valid arguments. Okay, both have 80 countries on Ritish's side, 75 on Avinash's side. So you can't be wrong. But the thing is, we all learn by understanding what the other person is saying, trying to figure out why or where does he come from, which means while we may stick to the same view, we will have a better understanding of why we take that position. So yeah, and Mega says my opinion may change based on the situation. Again, that's something which we have to consider as well. So with that note, thank you very much.